What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's solve this math question, which says find the value of x for which 2x plus 5 root x is equal to 3. Well, I'm going to be using two methods to solve this question, and in the end, you tell me which method you prefer. So let's start with the method 1. So for the method 1, I'm going to pick the square root of x. So this is the square root of x. And I'll substitute y for the square root of x. Very good. I also need x. But in order to get x from this square root of x, I will have to take the square of both sides. So this is the square root of x. I'll take the square of the left. This is equal to, I'll also take the square of the right. Now notice that square cancels out square root, leaving behind x to be equal to y squared. So in substituting, whenever I see the square root of x, I'll be putting y. And whenever I see x, I'll put y squared. Now let's go back to our original question. This is 2x. So 2x. What is x? X is y squared. So I'm going to be putting y squared here. Plus 5 times the square root of x. So 5 times square root of x is what? Is y. Very good. And this is equal to 3. Now our next step will be for us to move 3 to the left hand side. And we do that by subtracting 3 from both sides. So we have 2y squared plus 5y equal to 3. I'll subtract 3 from the left. I'll also subtract 3 from the right. So that we have on the left, this is 2y squared plus 5y and then minus 3 equal to, now on the right hand side, 3 minus 3 cancels out, which is 0. So we have a quadratic equation. And we're going to be using the factorization method to solve this. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this 2 to multiply negative 3. So 2 times negative 3 gives negative 6. Now, what are the factors of negative 6? So negative 6 is 6 times negative 1. Why did I choose 6 times negative 1? It is because their addition gives the middle term, which is 6y plus negative 1y gives 5y. So this is what I'm going to be using to solve this quadratic equation. So here I have 2y squared. Now pick this, which is plus 6y. And then minus 1y. So minus 1y. And then minus 3 equal to 0. Very good. So let's factorize. Notice that 2y is common. So I'm going to factor out 2y. Open a bracket. And then 2y squared divided by 2y. I'll have y plus 6y divided by 2y. I'll have 3. And then minus. Notice that 1 is common, so I'll bring out 1. Open bracket. Now, negative 1y divided by negative 1, I'm going to have y. And then negative 3 divided by negative 1 gives plus 3. And this is equal to 0. And as we see here, y plus 3 is common, so we can factor out y plus 3. factor out y plus 3 and then open bracket. 2y times y plus 3 divided by y plus 3 gives 2y. And then minus 1 times y plus 3 divided by y plus 3 gives 1. And this is equal to 0. So we have two cases here. The first case is y plus 3 equal to 0. And then the second case is 2y minus 1 equal to 0. Now, considering the first case, to get the value of y, we have to subtract 3 from both sides. So subtract 3 from both sides. What do we have? This is y. And then plus 3 minus 3 cancels out. And then on the right-hand side, 0 minus 3 is minus 3. Very good. And then from the second case, we have to move negative 1 to the right. And in order to do that, we add 1 to both sides. So add 1 to both sides. So notice the negative 1 plus 1 cancels out. So that on the left, we have 2y remaining to be equal to 0 plus 1 is 1. And then to get the value of y, we divide both sides by 2. So I'll divide the left by 2. I'll also divide the right by 2. So 2 cancels 2, leaving y on the left to be equal to 1 all over 2. But recall that we're looking for x and that we said let the square root of x be y, and therefore we simplify this to get x to be equal to y squared from our previous slide. So let's see something. For this first value of y equal to negative 3, we're going to reject this. We're going to reject this. The reason is because the square root of a number can never be negative. That means the square root of x can never result to negative 3. It is never done. So that's why we have to reject the negative. And we focus only on the positive, y equal to 1 over 2. So let's substitute y equal to 1 over 2 here to get the value of x. So x becomes y is 1 over 2. We have to square this. And then on squaring, this will be 1 squared is 1 all over 2 squared is 4. So this is the correct value for x. Now let's see our method 2. So our method 2. For our method 2, our first step will be for us to isolate 5 root x. And in order for us to do that, we have to move 5 root x to the right-hand side. And we do that by subtracting 5 root x from both sides. So I have 2x here plus 5 root x equal to 3. So I'll subtract 5 root x from both sides. Subtract 5 root x from both sides. And then I'm going to move 3 to the left-hand side. And in order to do that, I'll subtract 3 from both sides. So I'll subtract 3 from the left. I'll also subtract 3 from the right. So let's do that. Now notice that plus 5 root x minus 5 root x cancels out. And then 3 minus 3 cancels out. So what is left on the left-hand side? We have 2x minus 3. And this is equal to, on the right-hand side, I'm left with negative 5 root x. Very good. And so we've been able to isolate 5 root x. Now, in order for us to get rid of this square root, we have to take the square of both sides. Now notice that the left-hand side is of the form a minus b all squared. And in expanding an expression like this gives a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Now let's expand this in this form. So we're going to have 2x all squared minus 2 times 2x times 3 and then plus 3 squared. Very good. And this is equal to, for the right hand side, this square affects the negative 5. It also affects the square root of x. So negative 5 squared gives 25. And then the square cancels off the square roots, leaving x. Very good. And now let's simplify what we have on the left. So this is 2 squared, which is 4. And then this is x squared. And then minus 2 times 2x times 3 gives minus 12x. And then plus 3 squared is 9. And this is equal to 25x. Now our next step will be for us to move 25x to the left hand side. And in order for us to do that, we subtract 25x from both sides. So subtract 25x from both sides. What are we going to get? Here I have 4x squared. And then minus 12x minus 25x gives minus 37x. And then plus 9 equal to 25x minus 25x cancels out, so leaving 0 on the right hand side. Now we have a quadratic equation, and we're going to be using the factorization method to solve this. So the first thing we're going to do will be for us to use 4 to multiply 9. So 4 times 9 is 36. So what are the factors of 36? 36 times 1 gives 36. But when I add this up, I'm not going to get negative 37. What about negative 36, negative 1? So the multiplication of these two gives 36. And the addition, which is negative 36y, okay, this is x, negative 36x, then plus negative 1x gives negative 37x. Very good. So this is okay. So on simplifying, we have this first term, which is 4x squared. And then let's pick this, minus 36x. And then we pick this as well, minus 1x, which results to negative 37x. And then plus 9 equal to 0. Now notice that from the first two terms, 4x is common. So we factor out 4x. Open bracket. So 4x squared divided by 4x, I'm going to have x minus 36x divided by 4x, I'll have 9. Minus, now 1 is common on this other side. So let me write 1 here, and open bracket. Negative 1x divided by negative 1, I have x. And then 9 divided by negative 1, I'm going to have negative 9. And this is equal to 0. Now, once again, you see that x minus 9 is common, so we can just factor x minus 9 out and open up a bracket. So 4x times x minus 9 divided by x minus 9, I have 4x. minus 1 times x minus 9 divided by x minus 9 gives 1. And this is equal to 0. So we have two cases. The first case is x minus 9 equal to 0. And then the second case is 4x minus 1 equal to 0. Now, to get the value of x from the first case, we are going to move negative 9 to the right. And in order to do that, we add 9 to both sides. So on adding 9, you see that negative 9 plus 9 cancels out, leaving behind x to be equal to 0 plus 9 is 9. Very good. And then from this other case, this is 4x minus 1 equal to 0. I'm going to move negative 1 to the right. And in order to do that, I'll add 1 to both sides. When I add 1 to both sides, you see that negative 1 cancels out plus 1, leaving behind 4x to be equal to 0 plus 1 is 1. And to get the value of x, I'm just going to divide both sides by 4. And when I do that, 4 cancels out 4, leaving the value of x to be equal to 1 all over 4. Very good. That's it. Now we have two values of x here, but only one value is valid. Now, looking at the given question, when I try x equal to 9 and substitute that here, it will be 2 times 9 plus 5 times root 9. Would this be equal to 3? When looking at this, only this first term, 2 times 9 is 18. This is already bigger than 3. So we're not going to take this. We're going to reject this. Then when we try x equal to 1 over 4 and check that, you see that we have 2 times 1 over 4 plus 5 times the square root of 1 over 4. Would this be equal to 3? Notice that 2 here, 1, 2 here is 2. So I have 1 over 2 from here plus 5 times the square root of 1 over 4 is 1 over 2. And if I have to multiply this, I'll have 1 over 2 plus 5 over 2. And this results to 1 plus 5 is 6. The denominator is the same. That's 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So notice that we have 1 over 4 as a correct value for x. Well, feel free to share your ideas in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and have learned something from this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos. And like I always say, until next time, take care.